In Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, Steve Kerr dug deep into his bag of tricks, utilizing multiple zone defenses in order to keep the Dallas Mavericks, and specifically Luka Doncic, off balance. First, Kerr went into a 3-2 zone that was able to easily counter overloading the strong side of the floor by simply having the zone rotate. See how Kevon Looney starts on one side of the floor and then drifts to the other side in order to take care of the extra shooting threat. So originally, the upper three players were Steph, Wiggins, and Klay, but later in the possession, that morphs into Steph, Wiggins, and Draymond. While that was a pretty cool wrinkle to see, this video is going to be focused on the box and one zone defense by the Warriors, and I'm going to get into several ideas on how the Mavericks can counter it moving forward throughout the series. 3 years ago, I made a video on the Toronto Raptors box and one zone defense that they used against the Warriors in the finals. So now that we're seeing the Warriors run it themselves, I figured I'd revisit that video to see what I can learn. What I found was that these box and one zone defenses actually function differently, which I found to be quite surprising. The main reason I say that they function differently is that they send the star player in different directions. So in the Fred VanVleet versus Steph Curry matchup, VanVleet would not allow Curry to dribble down the sideline, allowing him into the middle of the floor where the weak side part of the box could stunt over to give him some extra love and attention, as they did not view the other players as shooting threats. However, when Curry did not have the ball in his hands, VanVleet did the opposite of this and denied him the ball at all costs. There are two major differences between this and the Warriors box and one zone on Dallas and Luka. First, Wiggins would force Luka downhill and not allow him to get to the middle of the floor, which is the opposite of what VanVleet did to Curry when Curry had the ball. Second, the Warriors didn't even have to worry about Luka when the ball was out of his hands, because he isn't an off-ball threat in terms of running off of off-ball screens. Sure, Luka can spot up and hit open threes when called upon to do so, but you're never going to see Luka running like crazy off of off-ball screens like Curry, because that's not his game. He's a ball-in-hand player, and so it's going to be very difficult for him to get into the middle of the floor with Wiggins shading him like this constantly. In reality, the situation presenting itself here is that this is an open invitation for the Mavericks to play 4-on-4 basketball. They need to prove that their non-Luka players can make the right plays under those constraints. One way to do this is to have more weak side action going on, such as two non-Luka players setting a flare screen for one another. So you could run this same action, and when Kleba gets the ball here, you could have Bullock set a flare screen for Brunson, or you could have Brunson set a down screen for Bullock. A second idea is to have more cutting actions, such as Bullock flashing to the free throw line area to force Porter towards the middle, and then once again having Brunson drift towards an area of the floor with no defenders. Now, this wasn't against a zone, but the Bulls' blind pig action out of the triangle offense is an example of what this idea might look like. For my last idea, you could park Luka off ball in the corner. He isn't really doing anything here anyway, but if you put him off ball in the corner, then the extra defender that's not part of the box would be forced to be in the same area as one of the corners of the box, and then you could spread the other four players out on the perimeter, and that should create space for an open shooter. I don't expect this box and one to continue all series long if the Mavericks can figure out some counters to it, but it'll be more difficult for them to counter when considering Luka's lack of ability to move without the basketball. Thanks for checking this one out, and be sure to subscribe for more.